So you probably clicked on this video because if you're like me, you're on a quest to get your life organized with Notion. And while I do think Notion's incredible, it can be a little overwhelming, especially if you're new. Now, because of this, I set out to make a dashboard that's easy to use and allows you to keep your entire workflow nice and organized. And while my dashboard is really geared towards content creation, because that's what I do, hopefully by the end of this video, you're able to take this layout or some of these ideas and use it as inspiration towards building a workspace that really works for you. So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so first up, when you look at the dashboard, you'll see that it's very straightforward. You have a right side and a left side. We're gonna go through the left side first because that all kind of ties into this overarching right side view. Okay, so in the top left here, we have the weekly agenda. Now you'll have this new week button, and when you click on this, it'll generate a new week. So then you can go ahead and click on this page and you'll see your weekly agenda nice and laid out. I have it populating with the date that you created this on. Usually for me, I like to do this every Sunday, and it's just a nice way to kind of get myself organized for the week. At the top, you have your list of days, and this is kind of where I plan out my schedule. So let's say Monday, I want to film Notion video. Tuesday, I'd like to edit that. Wednesday, maybe I want to film a short form video, etc. That's where I would lay all this out. And then below that, you'll see to-do lists for every single day of the week. These are separated into your priority tasks and your secondary tasks. So I know that everything that's above the line, I need to get done for the day, and everything below, if I can get to it, great. If not, no worries. So for again, let's say on Monday, I want to film the Notion video. But then I also maybe want to start editing if I can. If not, then Tuesday, I definitely want to start editing the Notion video, and then it'd be nice if I could also plan out a short form, etc. And like I said, every Sunday I'll go through and I'll basically fill this whole thing out so that I have a rough idea of what I want to accomplish and get done for the week. And then below that, you have the archive. So what you can do is when you're done with the week, you can go ahead and click it down to the archive, and all of your previous weeks will be stored there in case you ever want to look back and keep track of things that you've done. And then you can go ahead and click a new week and you'll just start a new week. All right, so once I've got my weekly agenda done, I then go ahead and move down to the resources. So the first one here for me is partners. Now this is where you're gonna keep track of basically any brand that you've ever worked with. So for example, let's say I'm working on a PC build with Intel. I'll go ahead and add Intel to the list as a brand that I'm working with. And then what I like to do is I like to actually add the logo for the brand as well. This is as simple as just going to Google, searching for the Intel logo, find one that you like, copy the image address, come back into here, add an icon, custom, paste it, and then now you'll have the logo for whatever brand. I like this because at a glance, you can kind of pretty much tell exactly which brand is which just based on the icon. And then we have the campaigns and the videos tab. Now these are linked up to videos and campaigns that you have ongoing with that brand. And this will update over time. So you'll kind of see how that works here in a second. So there's a main reason that I keep track of all of my partners. And that's because when we go out of this and we move down, we have the campaigns tab. So let's say a brand comes to you and they say, hey, we want to make a video with you, right? You add them to your partners. Then you'll come back here and you'll write out the campaign for that partner. In this case, let's say we're doing a Notion short form. I'll go ahead and do Notion short form video. That's the campaign. We're going to link our sponsor. So this is linking to that page that we created with all of our partners. I'm going to go ahead and put Notion here. In fact, this should actually probably be renamed partner. Type of video. In this case, I just have long form or short form. Those are usually the two that you're going to do. This is multi-select though. So for example, if you're doing a campaign with a brand and you have multiple types of deliverables, you can do them both. Usually you have some sort of draft deadline. So for this, the draft deadline, let's say it's tomorrow. And then the publish date is going to be on Saturday, the 27th. And then the budget, this is going to be obviously whatever the budget is for the campaign. In this case, I'm retiring apparently after I post this short form video. And one other column that you can actually add here, a net payout column. And a lot of these brands will have like a 30-day net payout, right? So after you post the video, you'll get paid 30 days later. And if you want to keep track of that here, this is just a nice way to do that. And then you just have a couple of toggles here if you finish the campaign and if you've been paid. So like I said, this is really geared towards content, but this is how I keep track of all my campaigns. If I finished it, when they're due, if I've been paid, it's kind of all in one nice, easy to digest home. The next one down is inventory. As a tech creator, I get a lot of products in, and this is kind of how I keep track of them. Now, obviously this is a template, but the real list is pretty long. In here, I've just added a couple of different columns. Here is where you put the actual product name. So let's say we're getting a keyboard in. You have a couple of tabs here that I think are helpful. You can keep track of the progress of the actual shipment. So if you've emailed them, if you're in progress of negotiating whatever this product is, if it's been shipped and if it's been received. So let's go ahead and say it's been shipped here. This is the type. So if you purchase the product, if it's a sponsored video or if it's just been gifted. And then the status. So for me, this is just like if it's an active campaign, if I haven't posted a video on it yet, or if I've gone ahead and completed a video, that's where I'll mark this. Fair market value, it's always important to kind of keep track of what things are worth. So this is where you'd put that. And then the product info. So maybe just any general notes about the product, that's where you'd put it. Next up, we have the inspiration tab. Now this one I use a lot. You come across things online, you want to save them for later, for a project, for inspiration, whatever it is, for your setup. This is where I keep track of all of that. So pretty straightforward here. Like I said, I wanted this whole template to be very easy to digest and look at. Just broken down into a few categories here that I find myself using for design, for fonts, filming, for the setup, etc. And then what I like to do here is instead of linking things directly, I like to use the web bookmark. So let's say, for example, that I found a video that I really like and I want to go ahead and save it. I will copy the URL. I will create a web bookmark. And then you'll see here that when you paste it, you get a nice little preview also of what that link is for. And again, kind of similar to adding the logos for the partners that I showed earlier, this is just a nice quick way to see exactly what you saved versus trying to click on every link and remember. Below that, we have press. This is kind of where I'll just keep track of any articles that might mention me. Recently added this one just because I felt like it'd be good to keep them all in one place, but obviously we just have one article right now, so not necessarily that used of a section. And then below that, we have the brain dump. Now, this is exactly what it sounds like. So the brain dump is really just a section where I can quickly write things down without ruining the organization of everything else in the dashboard. Usually what I like to do is make a toggle list. And then let's say I think of like, oh, I want to make a desk setup video. I will open up this toggle and I will write things down like talk about mouse, things like this. Kind of straightforward, but I just want to keep track of somewhere, and then I'll toggle that. And that way I can have a bunch of these all in one area and my notes are nice and organized still, but quickly accessible. Now below that, I have a gear section. This is basically what it sounds like. It's links to all of the gear that I use. It's just a nice place to keep track of things, especially for YouTube descriptions and stuff like that. And then finally, the content tracker. And like I said, this is actually where we're going to get into the right side, which is kind of the meat of the template. So we have two sections here. We have all the content at the top and the actual status of that content at the bottom. This is a template, so I've gone ahead and added a couple examples here of what you might expect this to look like. But let's go ahead and make a new entry first. So every time I make a new video, this is where I start. I have two template options here. I have a long form and a short form. I'll share the short form first. Super straightforward. You have the video concept, so basically whatever I want to talk about. Researcher inspo, if I've gone ahead and done some research about maybe new pieces of tech that I'm reporting or something like that, that's where it'll go. And then the script. Okay, so now we have the long form template. Now this one's a little bit more in depth. I'm also gonna go through what we have at the top here. So again, we'll have the platform option, short form, long form. In this case, it's long form. Draft deadline and publish date. This is similar to the campaigns. And then at the top here is usually where I'll put the title. So let's do Notion template breakdown. Now, one thing that I wanna note that I talked about earlier is when you have a partner here, you'll notice that in the actual video tab, it actually gets updated. So Notion template breakdown, this is the exact thing that we were just filling out. And the whole point of this here is everything is kind of synced to each other, so you can quickly access whatever videos you're working on or what you've done in the past from any of the tabs really. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and maximize this so I can show you quickly how I structure my YouTube videos. I have it broken down into kind of what I felt to be the most important. First up, we have the title ideas. This is just any titles that come to mind. This is where I'll keep them. Thumbnail/inspo. This is where I'll put my final thumbnail when I finish it, or if I find any inspiration that I want to try to do the same style of, I'll put it here. Music, straightforward, the music that I want to use for the video. And then recently for a lot of my long form videos, I've actually been doing shot by shot. So basically I will write it in my script line by line, and then I will have a shot according to that sentence. A quick example here, but like this is the new smartphone. Maybe I'll have some sort of shot of me holding it, right? And then I'll go ahead and once I've filmed that, I'll click that it's been shot. It might not be the most efficient, but for me, it's what works. And that's how I have almost a perfect shot selection for my entire video is by doing this process. Now you'll notice that this is broken down into sections. So for example, this is where I'll label that it's the intro. and then you'll have a new section button, and clicking on this will do exactly what it sounds like. It'll just create another section right below it. So relabel this so I can keep track of everything, and then I'll start the script for the unboxing section. Okay, one thing that I didn't touch on at the top is actually the status of the video. So I've broken this down into a couple different sections here that I've found to be the most common. First off is the idea. So you're always going to start with an idea of some sort. Then you're into the writing process, right? You're planning out your video, filming, and then editing. If it's in review, so in review is really for more branded stuff. If you finish the video and you send it out to them to make sure that they like it. Scheduled, which means you finish the video, it's just not published yet. And then finally published. And then you can see all of that nice and easily broken down at the bottom here. You can also move them around here if you don't want to go in and update it manually. And I just like this because it's a nice double view of everything that I have going on. I can make new content easily if I want to, but then I can also kind of keep track of where everything is in the pipeline and get things done accordingly. Now at the top here, I do want to touch on these tabs really quick. So I have them broken down into a couple different sections that I've found useful. The active tab is every video that's in progress right now. The sponsored tab is just showing the videos that have a sponsor attached to it, so you can easily see any brand work that you need to get done. Then you have by platform, so either videos that haven't really been assigned to a platform yet, or if you have a long form or short form video, this is where you'll see it broken down by that. Then we have the ideas section. So this is just any video that hasn't made it into the actual writing, filming, editing page, but yet it's an idea and you just kind of want to keep track of it. That's where you'll find it here. And then finally, everything. So just so you can see your full scope all in one place. And like I mentioned before, this is also in this content tracker tab at the left side here. So if you just want a full view of everything, that's where you'll find it. And then the last thing I want to actually touch on is Notion AI. So Notion's been adding a ton of really useful AI features into their software lately. And I kind of want to just quickly go through some of my favorite. Now, the first one and probably the newest one is the Q&A feature. Now, the Q&A feature is really cool because it basically acts as a personal assistant to your entire Notion library. You can very quickly search for things just with Q&A as opposed to trying to sift through everything that you've created. So for example, let's say I want to ask it something like summarize all of the ongoing videos that I have with Notion. And you'll see that it comes up with a really helpful result. You have multiple ongoing videos related to Notion. The most detailed one is a walkthrough of your workflow with Notion. All right, so pretty helpful, right? So let's do another one. I could do something like summarize all of the 3D printing videos I have going on right now. All right, and you'll see here that it says you currently have 2 3D printing videos in progress, which is accurate. I have one in the example template and one in my main template as well. It also gives you the option to quickly hop to those projects, so I can go ahead and click on whatever one it's referring to and it'll take me right to it, which is awesome. And I really like the Q&A feature because, like I said, it's so nice to just quickly retrieve information without having to dig through all of the different pages that I have, trying to remember where I put something. I mean, for the most part, this is pretty organized, but even still, when this starts to get to multiple pages of entries, using the Q&A feature is way faster. That, and it's not like a normal AI chatbot, like it actually understands your business and your previous decision-making to give you more relevant answers, which is really great because it feels like a tailored experience to your Notion template. And there are a lot of other AI features that I really like. For example, let's say we have this generic smartphone brief here for a video. I can just do /summarize. And now Notion AI is going to read through this entire brief and give me a quick 1-paragraph summary of everything that I need to know. And then it'll ask you to tell me what to do next. So I could say something like make action items. And because I had the paragraph highlighted, it's going to go ahead and replace that with action items that it found to be relevant based on the information below. And it's pretty cool. It's very helpful. It's nice when you get a huge document from a brand and you want to just kind of find the key points quickly. And then of course you can go ahead and do other things, like let's say you wrote this yourself and you want to ask AI to improve the writing or fix spelling and grammar or make it shorter or longer. There's a ton of really nice features here that are just built into Notion AI that I really enjoy. And with that being said, that's basically my entire template. So like I said, pretty straightforward at the end of the day. I tried to make it as simple as possible for everyone to understand, especially if you're new to Notion. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming. That being said, if you have any questions about what I walked through today, definitely let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to all of them. Otherwise, I appreciate the support as always, appreciate you guys watching, and good luck with your Notion adventure. I'll see you in the next one.